Some professional amateur StarCraft. We've rummaged around through Pig's back room. We found his file folders, and we pulled one out from the tab that said, well, I don't know if he's a tab person, but the one that said FLORENCIO. Let me introduce in the top right. It is FLORENCIO, also known as FloSquito. What a name. Already starting things off interestingly. Looks like he's going to wall off against... It's going to be a cannon rush, right? It has to be a cannon rush. The probe on the way out. Wall off on the high ground. On a map that Reapers can't... Well, QAZ. I would like to buy a U here, but... Quaz? QAZ? Q. We'll just go with Q. I like Q. A forge is on the way. Second probe, of course, it's a cannon rush. Wait, did he see the probe? Probe's the sneakiest unit in the game. Now, unfortunately for Mr. Squito, there is no wall on the top of the ramp. The natural counter to a cannon rush is just having nothing to be rushed. Where do we go from here? A cannon contain? A proxy nexus? I'm not going to try to predict. A cannon on the low ground. QAZ gonna find it. Up to the high ground. There's the forge. He knows what's up. Are the SCVs pulled? He could just build a bunker on the high ground. There's already a probe looking for an option to get that high ground vision. He could steal the gas. He could just build a pylon. Bunker is on the way. Reaper being produced. There's nothing to really stop a Reaper on the other side of the map. But he also has to stop his base from getting cannon rushed, ideally. So that is a concern. SCV chasing. He's looking not to have too many problems. That's a lot of cannons. FLORENCIO's commitment is, he is not doubling down. He's not tripling down, quadrupling down. He's pentupling down. 5 cannons. That is enough to kill a bunker that has a Reaper and a Marine in it. I'm pretty confident that'll do it. But on the other side is... There are 2 engineering bays in production, which seems like a bit of overkill. The bunker gonna try to be repaired. He could just target down the SCVs. He will. 3 shots to kill him. There's a command center on the other side. If there was any semblance of rails, we are now off them. Well, the bunker will fall. The double NG bay is complete. A planetary could be built. Does FLORENCIO know about this? He doesn't. Well, he will in a moment. Or will he? He doesn't decide to expand. He will be coming down the ramp now. It looks like the command center should finish. Unfortunately, QAZ did invest in an orbital command, which means he cannot load his SCVs in and out. The probe, very confused at the situation, will be waiting for the opportunity. Eventually, he'll be looking on the other side. He's going to cannon rush the engineering base. That seems a little excessive. The SCVs kind of just walk out. So, not sure how valuable this investment in cannons is going to be. A planetary fortress is in production on the other side. So now we're here. A 2-base Terran against a 1-base Protoss. That cannon will block potential expansions to the main. The Cyber Core may begin at this early hour of 4 minutes. Another gate is on the way. The depots will eventually be chipped down. Well, at least one of them. I don't think the other one's in range. The probes will find the base. They could technically kill the Marine. The Marine micros back. The epic battle. FLORENCIO pulls the probes back. So now what? Now what's happening? The planetary's done. The Zealot cannot come down the ramp in an odd turn of events. Where does the Nexus go? I'm going to predict here. I may have cheated. I did look at the direction the probes were going. But... still a guess. Stargate is on the way. Jimmy, could we put some better music on? Thank you. Wow! Okay. That's more like it. Is this going to be... You know, the best counter to a planetary fortress is oftentimes a mothership. Looks like it could just be a Void Ray to start. Actually, I have no idea. There are probes all throughout the map. There are cannons on the opposite side. A planetary fortress at the natural on the low ground. He is mining from 2 bases. The orbital command reestablishing the depots, and another barracks is on the way. As he starts out the stem, the Stalker gets in behind the mineral line. And that will be... Yep, that's the end of this base mine. So, Void Ray is on the way. We'll eventually be able to take out the planetary. And usually this is the stage of the game when there's a little bit of downtime. That you start to talk about, like, what do we see in the mid-game in TVP? What kind of follow-up are we looking for from both sides? What are they trying to figure out? Here we have a planetary fortress at the natural, an expansion in the bottom right corner, so he's halfway to the bingo strat of the 4 corners. An orbital command is on the left side of the map, north of where it originally started. And the planetary is dying to a charged up Void Ray, slowly but surely, as a fleet beacon is nearing completion in the main. So that's where we are now. The triple racks play. Plenty of Marines here, so it looks like QAZ is trying to get back to basics. He's gonna build a handful of Raxes. He's gonna get Stim. He's gonna stick with what he knows, which is bio units. Whereas FLORENCIO is gonna stick with what he knows, which is a 7-minute Tempest on 1 base. With the bottom right base taken, of course, as well. Both these players just sticking with their guns. We have some time to laugh about it before the battles continue. The Tempest's not great against Stim Marines. The mind games continue into the chat from Florencio. Continuing to confuse and confound his opponent. The backup decoy engineering bay ends up researching +1 successfully. So, a big win there. We now have a Robo Bay joining a Tempest in the production tab. Gateway units are overrated, says Florencio, who does not have Warp Gate. I mean, pound for pound, almost every single gateway unit is weaker than any unit that comes out of a Stargate or a Robo. So, the math checks out. Robo Bay almost done. Now, QAZ has no idea of what's happening in the bottom right. If he thinks that Florencio is just on 1 base, yeah, he's feeling good. He's got 2 bases. He's got a lot of bio. He has +1 in Stim, so if you're a Terran and you think the Protoss player is stuck on 1 base Stargate, yeah, great shape. But even that simple geometry not going to work out for our Terran. Now, Tempest Colossus is a very unexplored unit composition. I truly do not know. Like, when you scan this, like, what happens? Like, what do you do? You see a Robo Bay upgrading, Tempest, a robotics facility. Like, you try to put it all together. What's going on? It's almost impossible to know. The bio army's moving out, trying to get back to that bio push timing. There's now a Templar Archives on the way, by the way, in case we hadn't yet expanded the whole tech tree out. Unfortunately, the one thing that may counter this is a bunch of Marines and Marauders. There's a single Colossus. He's trying to close the distance. The cannon on the high ground helping. The Thermal Lance is not yet fully extended, but they're getting there. He's diving on the base. Little does he know there's already another one. The Stalker's doing some work. Down goes the Nexus. The Tempest, not the highest DPS. A lot of the Bio army will be chipped away. But he does get the objective. Another scan. I don't even know where is he scanning? The natural. He scans his own former natural. Because that is the natural place that Florencio could have expanded. But the bottom right corner Bronze League hero strat has worked out very well for him thus far. Storm is on the way. We're looking at more forms of splash damage than your average Hurricane. We've got the most technical army you could almost... I'm trying to think. Is he going to build... Oh my god. Florencio. Even he is stressed. He's building Warp Gate. But not before he builds some High Templar out of gateways like it's 1999. There's still a probe standing idly by, waiting for its opportunity. QAZ just falling back. He's got Vikings, Bio, Tanks. What are the upgrades? 1-1 is done. On paper, a solid army. But I had everybody burn their notebooks before we started because paper is not going to help anyone in trying to figure out what's going to happen next. The tanks will edge forward. He only has the single medevac, so Stim's hurt badly. Oop. The Tempest, do they have any upgrades? No upgrades. Upgrades are overrated. Not even a forge. Wait, nope. Even I forgot about it. This started with a cannon rush. Of course he has a forge. What am I saying? The Tempests are in position. The Nexus will fall for the... At this point, you got to start thinking, how in the hell does he afford multiple Colossi, Tempest, and now Storm on a 1.5 base economy? That is... There is some mineral and gas laundering going on here, or there's another base somewhere. Now, the tank's doing a pretty good job against the Colossi. The Templar are also not known for their ability to take out siege tanks. And QAC keeps hitting hard. He's still producing a strong amount of bio. He's got his upgrades. He's continuing forward. But Florencio continues to confound him. At what point will QAZ be like, no, I haven't won this game. There's another base somewhere. It's super obvious. Now, from our perspective, looking above, it's super easy to be like, yeah, obviously you can't have all that on one base. But when you're in the game, when you're in the trenches, you can't see nearly as far. It's very easy to get kind of, especially when you get cannon rushed and are forced from your home and forced to take up residence in a random corner of the map. It's a little bit harder to be like, okay, wait a second. But it's getting incredibly painful here, the lack of scouting for hidden bases. But remember, the tactics extend past the game into the chat and the mind for our Protoss hero. 3 Nexi on the way at the same time. I mean, why not? 5 Tempests, a couple Colossi, plenty of Templar at the back. A scan around. There's absolutely no way to engage from this angle. He only has a single tank. And good luck with the Tempest. How many Vikings? Only 3 Vikings. Make that 2. Storms on the SCVs. The Terran player gonna counterattack. A base trade is in store. Are there any Templar? There's nothing at home. He still has the recall ability. A mothership is in production in the main. It's a long way off. But he could recall some of his splash damage back. The bio stimming forward. He still won't even check for this base. He might incidentally see it in just a moment. Continuing forward. The recall comes through. He's going to bring everything but a single Stalker home. The Nexus will die for the 3rd or 4th time. I don't really know at this point. But it will die. Making sure he has minerals from much later into the game. The Stalker, very dead, but the rest of the army is intact. Scans coming through. I mean, I don't know what you expected to see, but there are plenty of High Templar on the way. Florencio is giving chase. A couple medevacs full of units. He does get out of there. I've resorted to just yelling at units. This is my commentary. Mothership nearly complete. There's no way to save this base. Another command center will fall. Or is there? The storms will ward him away. How many more storms are there? The bio looking for us around. He could go. The recall is now on cooldown. EMP! Beautiful! Needs another one, though. Doesn't quite find it. There's still one more storm. That could make all the difference. Is there? Does he have the energy? The bio is arcing out around. He's actually trapped. He can't recall out. It looks like he didn't quite have the energy for another storm. The bio continues forward, and the technical army is crumbling like a house of Protoss cards. That EMP changed everything. Knocked out all the energy from most of those Templar, leaving him with barely any storms. The Tempests don't have the damage output to really chunk through, and the Colossi were left on their own. So now Florencio has a handful of Tempests shelling from the left side. QAZ is down to 30 SCVs, but still a pretty strong standing army with 2-1 upgrades. Colossus is in production. Where is the mothership? Of course it is. Another scan up to the high ground. We'll depower almost everything. The forge that started it all looks like it might go down. Are there any Marines? Oh my god, there are no more Marines. So in about 3 years, the Tempest will kill this. Down goes the Robo. Down goes the Stargate. The Fleet Beacon next on the agenda. I take that back. Another Nexus. That Tempest trying so hard. The Tempest on the left side still doing some damage. A handful of Stalkers will easily get gunned down. The main Nexus is gone. He still hasn't figured out the bottom right corner. The cannon doing its best. I don't know where the other Tempest went. Marauder's doing great DPS here, but a mothership shows up, and he doesn't. Wait, he has one scan. The mothership. Nobody expects the mothership Tempest flank. He's gonna try to gun down some Tempest, but he can't see the He can't see the Stalkers underneath without a scan. You never expect one mothership, 4 Templar, 4 Stalkers, and a Tempest to show up. Why didn't he expect that? Nobody knows. Another Tempest from the... Wait, how did it even get there? Nobody... The storm. He's caught in between his barracks and the edge. The bio army has gutted the main, but he's left the Templar archives, a key part of this. QAZ plummets to 65 supply with less workers than he started with. Another base taken out. How's he gonna feel when he finally discovers the bottom right corner? Plenty of cannons as well. Restarting the Robo Bay. Maybe should have considered putting it on the other side of the pylons. Does it even matter now? A scan comes out. The scan spots the base. All the cannons. The Marauders will make a beeline for it. They should be able to get through the cannons. Is recall off cooldown? Indeed it is. He could recall the mothership and the Templar back. The Nexus is not being targeted as of yet. They will be coming back home. There are no scans. He can't see the Nexus. He's blind. He didn't see it before because he didn't look, and now he can't see it because he's being blocked by the mothership. There's a joke here, but we're just going to continue moving on. 3 Void Rays on the way. Stargate Command in the bottom right corner. How many? It looks like nearly checkmate. The Marauders will actually find some Stalkers. May be able to take them out. A little bit of bio, but the mothership... Well, a handful of Vikings as well. With 0-0 upgrades, the Protoss army is pretty fragile. It relies on its technicality. Oh, God, the storms. The mothership. He has more storms than he knows what to do with. GG! Florencio takes it with, it is either a 20 or 200 IQ build. I don't think there's any middle ground. Peak StarCraft. Florencio is kind of like Haz, if Haz was a chess boxer. Okay. Haz is kind of just like a boxer, except he takes cheap shots. But Florencio has some class. But he'll still punch you in the gut. If you like FLORENCIO, make sure to like this video. And you know how to like a stream on Twitch? You just simply type Kappa in the chat until you get banned. Or go check out FLORENCIO's stream, which will be linked in the description below. If you're on Twitch, you might be like, what is the description below? No, nobody reads the description. We all know that. No one in the history of any website has read the description below a video. Let's be honest here.